Algebra Word Problems number 33A. Write, solve equations for polynomials. Did you know the word poly means many? So we've got a mixture of monomials, binomials, and trinomials in these. An engineer uses the equations 6r squared minus 3r plus 22 and 2r squared minus r plus 6 to compare water flow through a pipe for two different pumps. Write a polynomial to show the difference in pumping speeds. So think, the difference means the answer in subtraction. So that means we need to subtract this one from this one, okay? So we've got 6r squared, and underneath it we've got 2r squared. Well, when we subtract this one from this one, they're like terms, so we can just do the subtraction. 6 take away 2 is 4. We end up with 4r squared. In this area right here, these are like terms also. And if you have a negative 3 and you take one of the negatives away, you'd have a negative 2 because you're getting closer to 0. See? So now we have negative 2r. And if you have 22 and you take away 6, because remember we're subtracting, we're going to have 16, and it's going to be a plus 16. So now we have 4r squared minus 2r plus 16, okay? Now, if you're having problems with signed numbers, my advice is I have a playlist called Intro to Algebra and More for my Joanns School. Videos 1 through 7 tell you all about signed numbers, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. And if you have trouble with adding and subtracting polynomials, then you can watch videos number 85 and 87. And if you have trouble multiplying polynomials, you can watch 90, 91, and 92. And then if you have trouble dividing polynomials, that's 93 and 94. There's no way I could put all of this information into one video without the video being 45 minutes long. So it was easier to make these separate videos for the separate topics. And now we're just doing word problems for extra practice, okay? Let's see what the next one is. Bob, Emma, and Tala have tropical fish. Bob has 4 more fish than Emma. Tala has 2 fewer fish than Emma. Emma has n fish. N's going to represent the number of fish she has. Write a polynomial to represent how many fish Bob and Tala have. So we think, it says Bob has got 4 more than Emma. So he's equal to Emma's amount plus 4 more. He's 4 more than her. Tala is 2 less than Emma. So she's equal to Emma's amount minus 2. And since Emma is equal to n, we can then think, then Bob is n plus 4 because Emma is n. See? So instead of writing Emma plus 4, we can say n plus 4. And if Tala is Emma minus 2, she's now n minus 2. We now have our equation. So now we have n plus 4 and n minus 2, and we can add them together to find out how many fish they have together, see? This n and this n makes 2n, and 4 take away 2 is 2, and our answer is 2n plus 2, see? Let's try this one. A rectangle is 4 feet longer than its width. The width of the rectangle is given as x. Write a polynomial to represent a, the area of the rectangle. So here we've got a rectangle, and if we were to cut it right here, part of it would be a square. And then this part is 4 feet longer than the width right here. So it's the width plus 4 feet, see? So if you were to just look at this section, it would be 4 feet times x, wouldn't it, for the area? Because area is length times width. So if this part is 4 feet, and that's x, 4x would be the area for that part. And if that's making a square, then x squared, x times x, would be the area of that one. So because of that, we end up with x squared plus 4x. See? The x times x gives us the area of the square shape right here, x times x. And the 4 times x gives us the area of the remaining part, 4 times x, see? And we have x squared plus 4x as our equation. All right, let's take a look at this one. Bob's company makes a bread knife that has a per unit cost of $4.50. Per unit means For every knife, it costs them $4.50 to make, all right? There's also a fixed cost of $3,500 regardless of the number of knives made. So that means even if they only make one knife, it's still going to cost them $3,500 for electricity and, their employees and their heat and, their rent and everything. So no matter what, whether they make one knife or 20 knives, they need to add this $3,500 onto it, okay? Now it says write a polynomial that represents the cost of producing n amount of knives. So we think, well, the per unit cost is $4.50 and n means the number of knives made, so we know $4.50 times n means $4 times how many knives are made. And then that way we would be able to tell how much it would cost if they made 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 knives, because we would just multiply that number, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever the number is, 15, 18, by the 450, and we would get the cost. But we have to remember that 3,500, okay? So we've got $4.50 n for each knife, and we add the $3,500 because no matter how many knives they sell, it doesn't matter. And the 3,500 does not get multiplied by the n because it's separate. It doesn't matter how many knives it is, so it could just be one knife. So we just add it on at the end. So we have $4.50 n plus 3,500. Now, let's say each knife sold for $15. Well, we would subtract the $4.50 from the 15 here. We get $10.50, and that would be the profit. But we can't forget about that sassy $3,500. It would be $10.50 times the number of knives they make minus the 3,500, and that would be the profit of the sales. Do you see? We added it on the first time because it was part of the cost, and we were trying to figure out cost. And now that we're trying to figure out profit, the opposite of cost, we have to take it off, okay? All right, I'm going to do a couple more word problems in the next video, and then we're going to move on to the next topic. All right? See you there. Bye.